What's up? Happy Thursday. We're rolling. We're driving the Kenworth T880 uh with the dry van 53 footer. I'm in a day cab. We all only have day cabs. We don't have anything but day cabs at my company. We don't sleep in a stinky motherfucking truck. I'm not saying every sleeper's a stinky truck, but I'm telling you, if we had a sleeper, it would be a stinky motherfucker because only a couple of people would ever clean it every so often. So we don't have a sleeper in the entire company. My sleeper is a Holiday Inn Express. That's what I'm telling you. I sleep at the Holiday Inn Express sometime. Not tonight. Not doing that tonight. It would be kind of cool if I was. That would be nice. I know they're sending out somebody to go sleep somewhere tonight. Lucky dog, you, whoever you are. I like staying out once every. I like staying out like twice a week. It would be nice to stay out twice a week. Um, just because there's a lot more pay with that. 3 times a week would be even more pay, but twice a week is good. It gets you a little extra pay for per diem and stuff. And usually where I would stay out. There's some people that stay out on horrible, shitty job sites, and they got to get up early as fuck in the morning and hit the fucking road and go right to their job site and get worn out immediately. Not me. When on my normal job, whenever I stay out, I get there early. I sleep in. Because nobody's really waiting on me. What are we doing, Cadillac? Cadillac is just doing. They're confused on where they're at, and they're about to be going the wrong direction because I am not going to let them into my lane, and they are now blocked. So hopefully the choice you made is the choice that you're gonna do. Oh, they're just gonna slam on the brakes. Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's behind me. Don't care. Do it back there. Don't do it up here. So the episode before last was I still ain't mowed. Well, last episode I meant to talk about me mowing. I meant to tell you about how I mowed my yard, but I didn't. I got home. What was that? Tuesday night. Tuesday night, I was driving home and I decided to try out this new air conditioning system. I was talking about how I was so excited about this invention that I was going to create, which was a cooler full of ice with a fan on it. And I was going to drive home and I was going to have cold, icy air blowing on me the entire drive. And it was going to be so fucking amazing. Well, uh, I tried it out. I filled up my cooler overflowing with ice. Like the lid wouldn't even shut. I left it overflowing. As soon as I get in my car and I plop that motherfucker down, a shitload of ice just falls out, gets in between the seats, all over. I mean, not that I really care too much about water being in my truck or my car, but it was a ridiculous amount of ice that I dropped. My cup holders still have water in them, which is not good because I chew, and every time I chew, I have a little bit that falls on my shirt, and I wipe it directly down, not intentionally, but it goes right into the cup holder. So now my cup holder, and I have coffee in there that spills. My cup holders are not clean in that car. Surprisingly enough, everything else is pretty clean. I did a deep clean on the car not too long ago, but the cup holders are always going to be nice and dirty. So now whenever I have a spit bottle and I pick it up, it drips this brown, chunky liquid all over me. It's not a good idea. And that's all because of the ice. If the ice never went in there, it wouldn't stick to the bottom of my spit bottle, but whatever. So I get I have a couple pairs of shoes in my car. I use those to kind of block the cooler from it tipping and stuff. And I set the fan in there and I feel it and I'm like, oh, that is nice. And I start driving and I'm like, I don't feel it at all. So I keep fucking with the fan, fucking with the cooler a little bit, and the ice is melting at a very high rate. I didn't realize how fast it was going to melt. I'm glad I brought an overflowing cooler of ice because I was thinking, oh, I'll just put a little bit of ice in there and then it'll be fine. It'll stay for the half-hour drive home. Well, the half-hour drive home was an hour long because I decided to take a route that had a lot of road closures and a lot of traffic. Nobody was prepared for the road closures I had on Tuesday. And I'm sitting there in traffic with my windows rolled up, dying inside. This fan ain't doing shit. Like, you have to put your hand right up to the fan, and that's the only cold you get. I'm like, I'm like sweating profusely. I'm like, this is not good. And I just keep driving. I get about 10 minutes away from the house, and I'm like, oh, God, I got to fucking roll the windows down. Roll the windows down. It is probably 25 degrees cooler outside than inside my car. And it's still hot as fuck outside. So I was hotboxing myself. I was like, this is fine. It's gonna cool down. It just needs a little bit of time to run. No, bad idea. You know, it would be a good idea if I could seal the cooler, seal it up, and the only thing blowing, the only opening was where the fan was. But if I did it again, I would use a piece of cardboard and like cut it into a wedge pattern with a hole in it, and then stick the fan right there. Um, yeah, so that didn't work at all. Um, very not cool, not cool at all. Literally and figuratively, not cool. I was hot as fuck, and I get home, but it started to sprinkle right as I got into my neighborhood, and I was like, if I don't mow tonight, I will never mow this fucking yard. So I texted the wife. I said, I'm not even coming inside. I'm going directly into mowing. And luckily, my mower still had a little bit of gas in it. And I start mowing. And she's like, it's thundering. I'm like, I have earphones in. I can't tell. It'll be fine. I don't care if it thunders. She's like, it's lightning. I was like, I haven't seen any lightning. Apparently, there's a lightning. Every time I turned around, there's lightning strikes behind me. I don't fucking know. But I mowed the yard, and it started to be a torrential downpour. And I mowed through the entire thing. I was like, I am not stopping halfway done. I'm mowing the entire front yard. The backyard still needs to be hit, but the front yard is done. And my mower did not like it at all. It was tall grass, and then I have like, I don't know if it's clover or what it is, but there's some really thick shit that grew up just enough to hit the blades, and it was clogging my mower up. I had to fucking shake that motherfucker and bang it on the ground and kick the fucking grass out of the chute and everything because it kept clogging up. Plus, it's all wet. And, yeah, so there's grass clippings all over my yard, all over my driveway, all over the street because it all got. I thought the rain was gonna like make it all go away, but no, it didn't. But I did get my yard mowed. I said if I don't do this, I'm gonna be in trouble. And doing that worked out really well, because it was really hot, but the rain came and it felt so nice because I was covered in hot sweat, and it started to rain on me, and it was like cool rain, and it was the best way to cool off after a hot drive. And my wife was like, "You should have waited." I was like, "That was the best mowing I've ever done." Okay, like I didn't get hot. I couldn't tell if I was sweating or not because I was getting rained on. I was completely soaked. I'm so glad my headphones didn't fucking short out because I was really worried about it. But at the point, I didn't give a fuck. I'm gonna listen to Alan Jackson while I mow. Okay, I ain't I ain't not mowing with Alan with not listening to my music. Okay, and I got it done. I went inside and I took a cold shower. That's the first time I can really think of that taking a cold shower. Well, not the first time. I've taken many cold showers in the past when I've been like super duper hot and go in there and I just take a nice cold shower. It feels nice. But took a cold shower that night and I didn't want to get out. I felt like my body was still like once I got inside, I was like radiating heat. So, but it was very refreshing. Now, I've always wanted to do like a cold plunge, but my deck would not support any type of water containment system. I don't really want to do it in the garage, and I don't want to have I don't want to be naked in my driveway, Not naked, but in my underwear in my driveway, sitting in a tub of ice. People be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I really wanted to put it out on my deck out back, but my deck is not going to support that. It may support it for a little bit, but either one day I'm going to open the back porch, and my deck is going to be on the ground with all that weight of water sitting out there, because that'll be quite a bit of water. I don't know. I was thinking about getting like a feeding trough, but like a deep one, or like a water trough for animals or whatever, like the oval shaped ones, and just putting water in it, and then dumping a shitload of ice in there every morning. I don't know. Bathtub would probably be the best bet, but I don't know. Anyways, I was listening to a guy talk about it, and he's like, "Hey, you can get all the same effects from, or not all of them, but most of the same effects from an ice bath with a bucket of water, bucket of ice water, and you just dip your head right into it, and you just hold your breath and dip your head in there, get it fully submerged, and try to stay in there, hold your breath, come back out for breath, or get a straw, or get a snorkel. I don't know." But I've been thinking about doing that because I think doing that would be nice, and I would love a sauna. I had an idea yesterday of bringing it up to my boss, but he's not going to go for it. They never go for my ideas. Sometimes they do, like the parking lot idea. But I want to, I want to be like, hey man, can we get a sauna and a blue cube in the shop? And he's going to be like, no, absolutely not. But I would still give him a good argument. I'll be like, listen, people that take ice baths, the cold doesn't bother them near as much, and it makes them feel awake and happy and good. An ice bath is a good tool to combat the elements. Uh, Conversely, or some word that's smart on the other end of that, a sauna. The heat won't affect anybody if they do a sauna every day at 195 degrees for 25 minutes. Get in there, you know, and but I don't think they'll do it. I just can't afford this shit at my house, so I'm trying to get my company to buy this shit so I can enjoy it. Because if they got an ice bath and a sauna, I would fucking use it all the time. People would start saying shit like, Kevin jizzed in the fucking sauna. I did not. That was fucking Ralphie. Ralphie jizzed in the fucking sauna. That wasn't me. Because I get blamed for a lot of shit. I'm an easy guy to blame for anything that goes wrong. And I think it's funny most of the time, but I don't know. Jizzing in the sauna, that's not me. Okay, y'all, no. Listen, I don't do that. I would never do that. But, anyways, I've been thinking about doing that ice bath type, or the ice bucket challenge, or well, not, it's not the challenge, but the ice bucket, dip your head in there every morning for like 3 or 4 different breaths or whatever, and apparently it'll just wake you up. It'll be way stronger than a cup of coffee. My cup of coffee over here is spilling. It's all over. I don't have my fucking coffee cup today. I left it at home. Damn. So if I want this cup of coffee to be warm when I drink it, I gotta fucking chug this motherfucker down. But we're heading up to Des Moines today, taking the dry van. I opened up the back of it because I always do before I take off with it, just to make sure all the shit I need is in there. And I don't know what the fuck kind of kinky shit they were doing in the back of this truck, but there's fucking bars and ropes and all kinds of shit all over on the inside of this trailer. I don't know what the fuck they used this trailer for recently, but I don't like it. But I just shut the doors. I'm like, I'll take care of it once I get there. Once I get up here, I'll move all this shit around. Really, there's only a couple things I need to move, and then throw all the straps except for one. I really hope I have a fucking pallet jack. If I don't have a pallet jack, this is not going to be a good idea. I did not even check to see if there was a pallet jack inside the back of this fucking truck. Oh, fuck. I might have to have somebody bring me a pallet jack. But we're having a good day. Things are going well. I tried to wake up extra early. That didn't work. I did. I promise you. I set some alarms. I did. I set a bunch of alarms early as fuck. And my wife didn't give a fuck about them. Usually she'll get tired of them because I set them like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Like, I just set them all randomly. So they're not even consistent. And I would think that would wake her up and make her fucking kick my ass out of bed, but she did not. So I just got to work at normal time, which is fine. I guess we had a guy get heat stroke on Monday afternoon. Didn't know that, but he got heat stroke, and he was out mowing, I guess, or weed eating. I'm not sure. He's a big boy. We hired a lot of big boys here recently. We got 3 big. I'm trying to become a little boy. I'm working on it, and it is working. By the way, I'm down to. I lost another 5 pounds, so that's really fucking cool. Um, so 265. I'm getting down. I think the lowest I got with other diets and stuff was like 260 in recent years. It was like 260, and that was right where I needed to be, to where I wasn't too fat, and they wouldn't make me take the sleep apnea test or whatever. So I'm gonna keep working at it and bring this down. My goal weight is like 200. But I think I'm going to be really comfortable at like 215, 210. That's where I would like my normal weight to be, around 210, 215. But obviously, I don't really get a choice in the matter if I keep up with my diet, and which I plan on. I don't plan on getting to the weight where I want to be and then just stopping. I plan on continuing this trend of eating. I've been red pilled, y'all. I can't go back to eating the way I used to eat. And I've known about the dangers and the effects of food for a long time. I just didn't give a fuck. Why do I give a fuck? We're all gonna die. It'll be okay. But Father's Day, really, something happened where I saw pictures of my dad and my dad's dad, and like from old pictures and stuff, and I'm like, these are all skinny guys, and they all died by 50. So, and I'm fat as fuck, so I really need to do something. They weren't healthy, they were just skinny. They all smoke and drank and drugs and all kinds of shit, and they weren't eating right. They were just not overeating like I did. So I don't know. I'm hoping that me losing the weight and eating, I think the carnivore diet is really healthy, by the way. I think if there's so many people that say that they had diabetes and doing the carnivore diet reversed their diabetes, even type 2, which is apparently you can't even get rid of it, but you can. Apparently, I don't know. But people say it's reversed their diabetes. It's got to be fucking good for you. Just eating a lot of meat and not anything processed. I need to get off the sugar, but I'm still doing a little bit of sugar and it's working still. I would love to get some keto test strips to see if I am in like a ketosis state, but I don't know. It sounds like I'm gonna start sucking a cock if I'm a keto man. I don't know. I don't want to do that. So, uh, anyways, the ice bath and the sauna would be an awesome addition. As the old great Joe Rogan says, that's like if you start your day out with something very hard to do, it makes everything else that's hard to do in the day a little bit easier. Like that's hard, but it's not as hard as sitting in a bath of ice for 25 minutes or whatever he does it for. So, and he's like, he turns it down as much as he can before it turns into a solid cube. So he does it at 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Just really fucking cold for an ice bath. Because I mean, a 50-degree shower is fucking, you're like, ah! And when I said I took a cold shower the other day, that's what it was. It was like room temperature fucking water. It wasn't, it was like 70 degree water. So it wasn't like anything crazy cold. The cold water in my house, in the summer months, you don't even get cold water really. I mean, it's not warm, but it's like just water from the ground. It doesn't get. I don't have a cooler at my house to make any water any colder than what the ground can do. So there goes the ambulance. Hopefully they're all right. Hopefully they're gonna save somebody. So yeah, mowed the yard. That was fucking cool. Not today, but eventually the backyard will get done. My poor little doggies. They're running around there. They don't have my big dog to kind of mat down the paths anymore. So my little dogs just go out there and like, what the fuck? I can't see anything. Because the grass is way taller than them. Um, I can tell I've been getting some new listeners on here, so thank you guys for coming over and checking it out. I hope I know I'm not smart. You're not really getting any knowledge out of this. I just hope I'm gonna keep you entertained a little bit to make your day go by a little bit faster. I think I tell some cool shit. Last episode talked about dirt bikes and stuff and cars. I always end up talking about cars and everything, but I don't know. I guess I could talk about today. So my dad owned a HobbyTown USA store. If you don't know what HobbyTown is, it's a toy store. Essentially, it's a toy store. They sell RC cars. They sell RC planes, RC boats, anything RC, they sell it. Models, model trains, slot cars, just anything that's fucking cool like that. Crafts, arts, crafts, paints. They sold trading cards. Hot Wheels, yeah, all the coolest fucking toys in the world. And so this was, I don't know when it was, back in 1990 something, 90, I'll say 95, just to cut it easy. My dad, he knew about the stores, obviously, because he's a big kid, and he went into one in Lee Summit, Missouri, and he still had money left over from something. I don't know how he did it, but he had some money left over from something. And he walked into a HobbyTown store and he bought the fucking place. We were not rich. I mean, I guess we were doing pretty okay up until that point. But he walked into a HobbyTown store and he ended up owning a HobbyTown store, which is really fucking cool. I remember my parents went on a Florida trip where it was a HobbyTown convention where a lot of HobbyTown owners went and talked about cool stuff and everything. Because they're all over the United States. There's a lot less now, but there used to be a lot of them. There was 2 in the Kansas City area. Now there's only 1, or there might have been 3. I don't know. And then there's Hobby Haven, which is a competitor, and there's a couple other, shops that are kind of similar. But HobbyTown USA, maybe I'm partial, but they seem to be the leaders in the RC car department. And I remember when the T-Max first came out, the Traxxas T-Max, and my dad got the first one for his store, and he decided that this was a really cool platform for RC cars. And he's going to hold on to this one, and all of the new parts that come in, he's going to put on this RC car. So all of the billet aluminum, A-arms and shit, new engines, new wheels, new tires, little accessories here and there, bodies, all kinds of stuff. And he eventually got this T-Max. It had 3 speeds, so it had a transmission on it. It also had like a little tiny turbo, like a tiny, tiny little turbo or something. Supercharger, I think it was a supercharger, like a little pro charger or something. And it was gas. And then later on they came out with the E-Max, which was electric, but the T-Max was gas. And this thing was fucking sick. So he had the exhaust come out, and he had some little tubes for the body. The body was a semi-truck. And he would put the tubes on the exhaust, and then he'd put the body on there, and then the exhaust would come out stacks on the top of the roof. Really fucking cool. And he had a bunch of other like little collectible ones. He had a carpet racer, which I have now. And then he had another, it was called the Grasshopper, I think. But it was a little tiny one. It was like a little buggy. Apparently they're really expensive. Tamaya or Kyosho or something. Really fucking cool RC cars. He gave all of his kids, well, me and Kyle, my brother. Kenny didn't come around until the store was like failing, so he was a baby. He didn't get an RC car, unfortunately. But me and Kyle, we both got Traxxas Stampedes, and they're electric. And I remember going to his store, and he always had batteries on the charger, so it was always fucking cool. At home, we always had batteries on the charger too, so we could always run around and race our cars. We had crystals. So nowadays, things have changed since my dad owned the store. But we used to have crystals. So you had a channel 27 crystal for the car and for the remote. So that was how you got the signal. But, competitions were kind of chaotic because people would walk in there or sabotage you. They'd come in there with another 27 crystal, but everybody had their own crystals. to run their fucking trucks, and if somebody hopped on their frequency, they could control their car, and their car would just go out of control. But he in the back, it was an alley lot in the back of his parking lot that he was set up to be a whole jumping arena racetrack thing, and it was so cool to go out there and help him set that up and race around my car just to test it out. But I was never really good at it. I was really young. I remember one day I was like, take your kid to work day or something. So my dad took me to work. And I might be lumping a couple of days in together, but I'm just going to give you a little experience of what happened. I remember I was either sick or it was take your kid to work day, and I went to his shop, and I was there all day with him. And now, there's a Chinese restaurant right next door, and he would always, he knew the people that worked there, and he would always get this custom order. It was like lo mein noodles with chicken and and I don't know. It was a fucking delicious. I've never had better Chinese food in my life, probably just because of the memories. But in memory, it tasted so fucking good. Listening to 99.7 KY, which was the radio station from back in the day. Eventually switched over to 101 The Fox, but just classic rock on the sound speakers through the shop. Chinese food and a Coca-Cola. That was so fucking cool. And the smell of nitro RC gas, and you can smell a little bit of the electrical stuff, whenever the electric engines fire up, and man, it was so fucking cool. Anyways, I was there, and my dad had got mad at me for something. I don't remember what it was, but he said, just go look at the toys. Because I collected 1/18th scale die-cast model trucks. Because the doors opened, the hood opened, the steering wheel turned, everything, and they were heavy, and they were super realistic. So I was always checking out the die-cast stuff. My dad got mad at me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make my dad happy. And I'm going to go around, and all of the hooks on the pegboard shelves that don't have anything on them, I'm going to take all those hooks off, because all these are extra hooks. So I went to the back room, I grabbed a box, and I went and I took all of the empty hooks off of every single shelf until I got to the shelf that was facing the counter. And my dad saw what I was doing. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I was taking all these hooks off. I thought it was working. He's like, no. I'm like, what? He's like, no. Those hooks just don't have anything on them because we're sold out of that stuff. So I created way more work for my dad to go back and figure out where all these fucking hooks went. And then, like I said, I'm lumping it in together. So I go over and I'm sad. And my dad had a couple of employees. And I remember my dad was talking to a customer. And there's a Coke sitting on the counter. I was like, Dad, is this your Coke? And he ignored me. And I grabbed it and I walked over to him. I was like, Dad, is this your Coke? He's like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I take a swig of this Coke. This Coke can, a dude chewed tobacco and smoked cigarettes. So I don't know why he carried this Coke can around. I guess because he was spitting tobacco in there. But I took a swig of some man's spit and cigarette butts. It was so fucking disgusting. I spit it all over the floor, all over the counter, dropped the can, and ran to the bathroom because it tasted like death. It tasted like spicy death. It was fucking horrible. Tastes like cigarette ash and everything. Ugh, god damn, disgusting. And my dad immediately turned around and fired the guy that cup belonged to. He said, I told you to quit leaving that shit around here. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I had it on the counter. He's like, I don't give a shit, you're fired. Something along those lines. So my dad fired this guy over me drinking his spit cup. So I was, my dad had my honor. I was like, I felt honored that he would go to such lengths for me, even though I could have just washed out my mouth and been fine. And he'd be like, "Hey, don't leave that shit laying around. My kid drank it." No, my dad protected, uh, got rid of the bad guy in my mind as a young kid, I guess. But uh, another time, uh, a guy rolled up, and I don't know the whole context of the conversation, but there's a guy in there looking at an RC boat, like a big, like 6 foot long RC boat, fucking quad engines, fucking fast as fuck race boat. He said, "This thing is fucking cool." He's like, "I want it." And my dad's like, "Okay, well, it's gonna be like $1,200." And the dude's like, "Do you take in trades?" And my dad's ears perk up. He's like, "Trades? What kind of trades you talking about?" And he's like, "I have an '89 IROC-Z Camaro T-top that I'll trade you for that." And my dad's like, yeah, what condition is it in?" And he's like, it's in condition is what it is. And so this dude brought this Camaro up there. It ran. He drove it up there. It was completely faded red. The weather shields were completely gone on everything. It had wagon wheels and like off-road, all-terrain tires, and all the graphics were faded or ripped off. The interior was just a mess. And my dad said, "Yep, I'll take it." Because it drove up there, I guess. Um, Fuel injected. I remember the snout on the front of that Camaro it just said fuel injected with the intake and everything. So my dad traded this man, gave this man a brand new RC boat for this car, and he was so excited about this car. We spent days in the garage, me and my sister and my dad, mainly because he told my sister this was going to be her first car. So we're out there in the garage working on it, and I remember he had a bottle of lighter fluid that he's squirting into the intake, or my sister is squirting into the intake, while my dad's inside the car in the garage cranking it up, trying to get it to fire up, or I don't know what they were doing. And it backfired, and it caught the bottle was dripping all over her hand and everything, and it backfired, caught her hand and fucking hair on fire. She threw the bottle at the windshield of the car, fucking just, the bottle blew open, fucking fire in the hole, and I'm standing there like, "Oh shit!" And my dad jumps out and pats her down and gets her all. She didn't get too burned, but it was just one of those things I remember. My dad went out and he bought some staggered wheels, so the front wheels were skinnier, the rear wheels were fatter. They were like 18s, and they were chrome, and they had some fucking, I don't like them, but they were some wheels that would fit. And he put brand new tires on it, got these wheels, took it into a shop, had the engine and transmission gone through, because he didn't have the time or whatever to go through it, I guess. And then he had exhaust work done to it, took it over to Mako. I remember sanding that thing down in the garage, and then he had it dropped off at Mako, and they put a bright Ferrari red paint job on it. And then he bought all of the graphics that go to it, and we all put the graphics on there, the pinstripe, or not the pinstripe, but the stripes that go along the bottom of the car. And then he redid the part of the interior. I think the dash was still cracked and stuff, but he redid most of the interior, made it look really nice, got it running. The exhaust it sounded so fucking cool. It's so loud. And I think he did suspension, like just change out the shocks and stuff. But it was a fucking rebuilt IROC Z Camaro. It looks so fucking cool every time you come home from school. And then my sister, I never drove the car. My sister would drive me to school in it, though, after he got it done. And then, I don't know, I think I was riding the bus, or maybe I had gotten my own car at the time. I'm not sure what it was. But my sister was driving it to school, and right at the bottom of our street, she was bending down to grab her CD case, fell on the floor, and she bent down to grab her CD case. And when she did, she turned and she nailed a fucking culvert, or like a drainage ditch in like normal neighborhoods. They have that big ass drainage ditch in the middle of curbs or whatever. And she fucking creamed it and fucked up the whole front bumper, the fucking wheel, the A-arms, all that shit. My dad had it drug back to the house. It was right down the street from the house. Pulled it back up to the house, sat in the driveway for a while, and this was the time. That's when I had my 96 Ford Thunderbird that I got for $600 or whatever, and I still didn't have a license, or I don't know what was going on. I think I was riding with my friends to school or something, or the neighbor girl. I don't know. But I had the 96 Thunderbird, and I always snuck the Thunderbird out of the driveway. I never did the Camaro because it was way too loud, and if I started that up, even at the bottom of the street, it would be way too loud, and people would wake up and realize the Camaro's gone and I'm gone, and it's pretty easy to figure it out. So I took the Durango, I took the minivan, and I took the Thunderbird all the fucking time. It was just like, which one do I want to drive tonight? I would just sneak out and grab this car and then go pick up my friends and go joyriding and stuff. Well, it was like summertime. This is my car jump story. It was like summertime, and I had all the dirt bikes and shit in the garage, but I had this car. So I had a couple of friends come over. It was after school or something, before the parents got home. And we took the car out. We're just driving around. I'm just having a fun time. No license. I had to have been like 14 or 15. And we go out to that one road where I got in my big car crash. But this was before the car crash. And I start flying down the road in those paved over railroad tracks where we started from the car crash. This was before the car crash. I think I already said that, but I just want to preface. This is before the car crash. This is when I was still young and really dumb. I fucking jumped. I had a car full of fucking people. I had 3 people in the back seat and me and a buddy up in the front seat. And we jumped the railroad tracks, but it wasn't really cool. Like, we jumped it, but it wasn't really high or anything. So I drive all the way down to the T of the road, where I fucking flew out. And I turn around and I fucking floor it, and it's downhill. And I get up to 90-some miles an hour, and a truck, in the intersection right after the railroad tracks, a truck pulls out into the road. And I'm like, oh, fuck. But I just lay into it even more. Well, I continue to lay in it. I already had it to the floor. And we hit these fucking railroad tracks, and I go fucking soaring through the air. And we jumped at least 30, 40 feet through the air, fucking came down, and bam! We landed perfectly flat. And bam! Hit the fucking ground. And I swerve out of the way of that fucking truck and fly past him. And then the people in the back seat, the rear view mirror fell off of the fucking windshield. Everybody, flew up in the air and hit their head on the ceiling and then came back down, and everybody's spine got broke. Not really, but, it could, the possibility was there. And, I'm just driving. I'm like, oh, fuck. And the people in the back seat are like, we smell something burning. I'm like, I lean my head back there. I'm like, I don't smell anything. And my buddy leans back there. He's like, I don't smell anything. I think it's fine. And we're driving, and then I see that I don't notice anything with the gauges, but I drive over to my buddy's house, and we pull over there and we park, and I started to smell something burning. And I look underneath the car, and there's just a solid stream of oil coming down right from the oil pan. I'm like, oh, fuck. And Hannah, the girl, the only girl that we had with us, she was on her, like, trying to get out of the car, and I fucking just took off. And she's like, what the fuck? What are we doing? I was like, I'm so sorry. I got to get home now. This car is about to be broken. So I raced it home, dripping oil the entire way, and pull up into the driveway, throw it in park, and I get out, and then eventually they rode their bikes over or something, I don't know. And they're like, what the fuck happened? I was like, oh my God, I broke the car. The car's broken. They're going to find out. My parents are going to find out that I drove this thing, and I'm going to get in so much trouble. And so I was like, I'll think of a plan. So my dad ended up showing up at home, an hour later or whatever. And we're still out in the driveway. And I'm like, Dad, something happened to the car. He's like, what happened? I'm like, well, you see the oil trail? He's like, yeah. I was like, so what happened? I pushed down on the hood of the car, and I showed him that, I blew out the fucking suspension. I don't know if the suspension was already blown, but I just pushed down the car. I was like, the suspension is like super duper soft in the car, right? He's like, yeah. And our curb wasn't exactly lined up with our driveway, and there's cracks all over everything. And I was like, I was back in, I just got in the car just to move it out of the driveway so I could get the dirt bikes out. And when I rolled it out, I hit the brakes right at the curb, and the suspension went down, and it hit the oil pan on the curb. And it cracked, and now it leaked all the oil out. He's like, oh, so my dad, he watched a lot of CSI and stuff, so CSI, Crime Scene Investigators, or whatever, that fucking show. So he goes out there with his fucking Sherlock Holmes and everything, and he's like, he sees the oil trail go over a crack in the driveway that looks kind of fresh. I may have took a hammer to it. I don't know. And he's like, okay, your story holds up. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, that was a very brittle oil pan. I'm like, I know, because it was completely shattered, spider cracked throughout the entire oil pan. And I got away with it. He believed me. I never got in trouble with it. Nobody ever said a word until I turned 18. Then I told all when I turned 18. Not a good idea, but I turned 18. I think my parents were already divorced. No, they weren't. But they were kind of rocky. And but I had moved out at like 17 or something. I don't know what year they got divorced. I'm trying to remember. But I was already moved out, and I turned 18 at my birthday party. I just told them, I was like, hey, I know I'm 18, and there's a lot of stuff I've been holding on to that I haven't told you guys that I really wanted you guys to know, just because so my conscience will be free again. I'm like, I jumped the car. Remember with the car, the oil pan was all fucked up? Yeah, I jumped the car at the railroad tracks with 5 people and completely shattered the oil pan, almost wrecked the car. Also, the minivan, I took the minivan out. I put stickers over the fucking bumper, but I took the minivan out, and that was like, an hour away from our house. I took the minivan and I drove it into a ditch. I also have gotten the minivan on 2 wheels several times. If you take a corner really hard and swerve back and forth a little bit, you'll get it on 2 wheels. I snuck out from the house. They caught me sneaking out once, but not the 95 other times I snuck out of the house. I snuck out almost every school night, at least every school week. I snuck out of the house to go drink at a party. Um, just wanted to let you guys know that. I did. I was, and I felt so bad. My mom did not appreciate any of what I was saying. I thought it was because she was like, "Oh no, I can't believe you did all that stuff." I thought she was mad at me. She was mad at herself because she felt like a bad mom that all of these things that I was telling her happened under her watch, and she had no idea. Now that she only knew about the one time I snuck out, I had my buddy meet me at the bottom of my street in his Ford Bronco. I snuck out of. I lived in the basement, so I had a little window that you could open up and knock the screen out, and I could sneak out of the window, hop in the Bronco with the dude, and we drove, I don't know, an hour and a half south to a farm, and we just were drinking and having a good time out on a farm, off-roading and just shooting the shit. And about, I don't know, probably about 3 a.m. we would decide to leave, but my mom ended up waking up, noticed that I was gone, and called me. I remember pretty closely. I had my cell phone. I had a cell phone at the time. And she called me, but my phone was inside of a truck, and somebody was like, "Hey, your mom's calling." I was like, "Do not answer it. Do not answer it. Do not answer it." And they answered it. And they're like, "Hello? Is this Kevin's mom?" I'm like, "God damn it, dude." And then she's like, "You get here right now." I was like, "I would, but I don't have a ride." She's like, "What do you mean you don't have a ride?" I'm like, "I don't have a ride. I'm way down south." "You're where? You better get here immediately." And so I had to get one of my buddies to leave the party so he could drive me home. That drive of shame all the way home. Um, yeah, it was that was a bad time, but I didn't really. I mean, I guess I got in trouble, but not really. I mean, I was just having fun. I didn't tell him I was drinking or anything. I was just like, I was having fun, having a good time. Just my buddies were going down to the farm, and it just happened to be around this time. Sorry. Whoops-a-daisy. But yeah, I snuck out a lot, and I never got caught. There was one time where the police came to the door, and I was sleeping, and my parents ran down. This was after that, I think. They ran down to my room. They shook me out of my sleep, and they're like, "What the fuck did you do?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "We thought you snuck out or something. Did you sneak out?" I'm like, "No, I didn't sneak out tonight." We go out there. Some fucking hoodlums went through the neighborhood and stole a bunch of shit out of people's cars. And they happened to be at my car at the time. So they dropped all of their loot they left in my car. And my Thunderbird. So they were thinking that maybe I had something to do with it. I'm like, no. And I looked in there. We had a Islamic family living across the street from us. And there's a bunch of Koran and all kinds of fucking Middle Eastern shit all over in my car. I'm like, yeah, none of this is mine. I don't know. I wouldn't steal all of this shit. Like, what are you talking about? So I gave all the shit back. And what the bad guys that were running around stealing shit out of cars, they had gotten a hold of a couple of garage door openers, and they were running around the neighborhood opening up garage doors and then robbing them. And it's like, I don't know, my garage door is loud as fuck. Like, if you open my garage door, I'm going to know something's up. Well, it was kind of weird how the garage door openers worked back then also, because my neighbor had got a new garage door with a new opener, and they would always hit the button right in front of our house as they were headed to their house, and our garage door would always open because their garage door opener worked with ours. And it was kind of fucked up because we would, our neighbors were fucking weirdos, and they would they would be leaving and coming at weird times, so our garage door would open all the time. And we eventually got it figured out, and we're like, hey, what the fuck? Your garage door opener is opening our garage door. Can you, like, not hit the button in front of our house, like maybe 4 houses down? Whenever you get closer to your house, hit the button, and it won't work. And that eventually worked, but that was Ryan's mom. She ran over Jason's bike. Like, Jason was the little chubby, nerdy kid. I was friends with him. His dad was an avid hunter, and his dad always had the cool guns and stuff. He was a single child also, so he had all the coolest shit. He got a PS3, and my parents weren't going to get us a PS3 because it was like, I don't know how much it was. It was expensive. So I would always go up to his house. Sometimes when he wasn't even there, I'd just go talk to his mom and be like, can I play the PlayStation? And Jason would be like, he would show up. He'd be like, what are you doing? I was like, I wanted to play Grand Theft Auto 4. Because he had Grand Theft Auto 4. I would always be up there playing it. And I'd be like, he's like, it's my turn. I'm like, no, it's not. It's my turn still. Oh, shit. They done crashed their van. There's a van in the ditch. I wonder if that's where the police was headed. I don't know. I saw police headed the opposite direction, but yeah, Jason, he was a cool guy. I loved Jason. He was a really fucking cool guy. And his mom flashed me a couple of times. That's kind of weird. She thought it was funny. I didn't really like it, but she did flash me a couple of times. That's probably the first, not the first, but one of the first pair of titties I seen was Jason's mom. She was a slim lady. She was just old. Uh, she would, I don't know. That's weird. Weird to think about nowadays. But there was another neighbor kid. His dad ran the fire department in, I don't know where it ran it, but they were real big into the fire department, and they owned a lot of land. There was a lot of land over there, but the land where our dirt bike track was, they didn't own that, so it was cool. But they owned all this other land, and we were like, hey, can we ever off-road on your land? They always said no. But we would always sneak into their land because there was just a small little fucking cattle fence to jump to get into their land, and we'd go exploring. And there was this ditch that had a bunch of cars in it, dude. Like, there was a bunch of fucking cars down there where, I don't know why, but they would just dump these cars down into this ditch, and they were there for decades because they were, buried in the ground and stuff. And we would go down there and fuck with those cars all the time. That was always fun. Played paintball back there, too. A couple of times. But what was his name? Can't even remember his name. He had a John Deere Gator. It was a 5-wheeled John Deere Gator. And we'd always go over there and try to run around with him on that. He wanted friends, but he didn't like how immature we were because we would always, do off-roading and stuff. And I took my go-kart over there a couple of times and dirt bikes and stuff. But he's like, you're tearing up our land. I'm like, what do you do with the land? Not like, why does it? I mean, I understand you don't want me to tear up your land, but there's no reason for like, the little ruts that I'm leaving aren't really affecting anything. They don't do anything with their land at all. They just own it, and it's just all overgrown and stuff. But yeah, I was talking. I don't know. They were talking about renting out a house, and I was thinking about renting their house out at one point in time. But they wanted to charge. I don't know what it was. They wanted to charge me like $1,000 a month for this fucking shit house. So I declined. But it was kind of cool to go there and explore with them and do some stuff. There was one day we were throwing rocks at one of their sheds, and we broke their window on a shed. And one day they found out about it. They found out that their window was broken. They called me over. They're like, "Hey, I have something really important I need to talk to you about. Did you throw rocks at my shed and break my window?" And I looked him square in the eye and I said, "No," even though I did. He's like, "You know how I know you're telling the truth?" I was like, "How?" He's like, "You're staring me in the eye when you told me." I was like, "I straight up lied. I broke your window. I threw a lot of rocks, and eventually one of them broke the window, and then I kept throwing rocks to break the other window also." Never didn't say that to him, but he always held me in high regard because he thought he knew I broke the window, but when I lied to him, I've never been good at lying, but apparently I was really good at lying that time. Oh, there was also a water tower right there behind Jason's house. And so, there's a building, and if you climbed up on top of the building, you could open the window and you could go inside, and there's just like, this is just like a little building that, had meters and gauges and stuff for the water tower, but the water tower was decommissioned. And we would go in there, and it was just our little playhouse. It's kind of cool. We never climbed the water tower. I always wanted to climb the water tower, but it was too scary. Too scary to climb the water tower. I think somebody eventually did climb it, and I was like, I ain't going up there, you fucking crazy motherfuckers. But we did like to, my dad owned hobby stores, so we had laser pointers and with all different types of designs. So we'd go all the way down to the bottom of the street and shine them onto the water tower. It's kind of cool. Kind of fun little thing. Just a little tidbit of information there. Nothing special with that. We had my dad sold playing cards at the hobby store, and so he had Magic cards, he had Pokemon cards, baseball cards, football cards, like all the fucking cards you could imagine. He had them. Yu-Gi-Oh! Eventually, but Pokemon was so big. Like, that was the boom of Pokemon. And my dad ordered, giant displays full of Pokemon cards, and we would go in there, and he was like, I want to search for the Charizard, so we would all open up packs of cards. He would do, the business went under. You can probably tell why. We fucking were just playing with all the shit, and not. I guess it is stealing, but it's stealing from ourselves. So I don't know. But we would open up all these Pokemon cards, and we went through them all and tried to find all the cards. And we had a first gen Charizard holographic, one of the most sought after fucking cards ever. My dad put it in a special case, after all the kids looked around and played with it for a little bit, put it in there, and held on to it for a very long time. And then, I don't know, eventually I had moved out, and then after the divorce, after my dad passed away, all that stuff, I ended up finding that Charizard and a couple other nice cards and stuff, and it was at the boom right when Pokemon Go came out, and I took the Charizard up to a card store and I sold it to them for like $80. It had a scratch on it. It was the corners were a little fucked up. The case that it was in, it was one of those screw tight cases, but the card could still wiggle around inside of it. and they explained that this isn't the good. You need to have it in a different sleeve and then put it in this case because it'll damage the card. So I sold that, and that's why Kyle got real pissed off at me on one of those family outings. I told him that I sold it. You sold the Charizard? You motherfucker, you fucking... I'm like, shut the fuck up, pudgy bitch motherfucker. I got $80 for it. They didn't, like, rate it, but you'd have to send it off to get rated, and they showed me all different types of stuff on there that's all fucked up. It wasn't worth any more than $80. He's like, I want $40. I said, fuck you. You didn't even know about the Charizard until I told you about it. I had my own Charizard, holographic, also. There's a little kid down the road from me, same age as me, Robbie. Robbie the Robber is what I named him after this time. Alright, so, you know, in elementary school and stuff, you would sell major saver cards. You'd have other little shit that you could sell and get points, and then you'd get, like, cool toys and shit. This motherfucker was ambitious, an entrepreneur. He would get those major saver card things, and he would leave school, or he would have his parents pick him up early from school so he could go around and sell the entire fucking neighborhood. There was 50 kids, probably, that lived in my neighborhood. It was a very popular neighborhood for kids because it's right next to the school, and it's really closed off and pretty safe. This fucker would get the fucking major saver card and run around and sell to the entire neighborhood before anybody could even know. So if we wanted to sell major saver cards, we just didn't, because they were like, we already bought one from Robbie down the road. I'm like, fuck, fucking Robbie, bitch ass Robbie. Anyways, he had a Schwinn bike. Why did the Subaru get into the fast lane? Why are you in the fast lane at all? Yeah, get the fuck out of the way. You're going way too slow. He had a Schwinn bike. He would never let anybody touch it or ride it or anything, which is fine, but it was kind of like a bitch move. Everybody let everybody ride their bikes to just test them out and everything, and he always said that his bike is the coolest, and it was really fucking cool, but it was just bike. His dad had a Beatles cover band, and they would set up like a whole stage and everything down in the cul-de-sac and play the Beatles songs. It was pretty cool. His dad had a Supra, a Gen 1 Supra. Still has it today. When I go to my mom's house, it's still there. A Gen 1 Supra, a Toyota 4Runner that has the removable top. It's like super nice. Robbie ended up getting a Z28 Camaro that was like super fucking nice. But anyways, back in the day, we had these playing cards, and Robbie always wanted to have the coolest playing cards, and he found out that I had a Charizard, and he came to my house, and he begged and pleaded, cried. He put on a fucking Oscar-winning performance, guilted me in to trading, 20 fucking other holographic cards for my one Charizard card. And I fucking did it. This dude was pestering me so fucking hard. And so I traded him. And then my dad got home, and I told him about what happened. I was like, I traded that Charizard for all these cards. And he's like, what? No, why? No, the Charizard is the best one. That's the one that everybody wants. Why would you trade for that? I was like, he really begged me and stuff. And so my dad took me down to Robbie's house, Had Robbie's parents come out, and Robbie's mom turned into the biggest fucking Karen I've ever seen in my life. Trade's a trade. And my dad's like, well, I understand, but your son, like, conned him out of the fucking card. Like, did you want to trade that card for it? I was like, no, I wanted to keep it. He found out that I had it. He came up to my house, and he fucking conned me into trading it. And he's like, or she's like, a trade's a trade, and that's it. And then she closed the door. And, you know, my dad, you know, being the way he's like, we'll get you another one, buddy. And I mean, he had the one, but he's like, you ain't getting mine. You're gonna get another one. We'll open up some packs and find one. Never found another one. You know, for me, I did collect a lot of Pokemon cards, but I don't even know where the fuck they're at anymore. I had mainly fucking potions, potions and energy cards all over the fucking place. But man, just thinking back to those days, if I had the perfect opportunity to collect so many fucking brand new holographic Charizards that I could have had a fucking stockpile. I don't know what they're going for today, but I could have had so many fucking pristine things. And I'm trying to think, like, what do we have today that you could collect today that would be, you know, in 20 years from now, would be highly sought after and very expensive? Like, what collectibles are coming out? Nothing. I mean, that's what we feel. Oh, shit, sorry. That's how we feel. But I guarantee you, there's something out there that's being sold today that's going to become so popular in the future that everybody's going to want to get their hands on it. And you just don't know what it is. I mean, it was kind of obvious, as obvious as it gets, to know that the Charizard was going to be the highly sought after thing from back in the day. But yeah, I sold the one for $80. So yeah, it wouldn't have got a really good rating, so I sold it for $80. And the dude told me, he said, if you really want to get as much money out of this card as you can, probably don't rate it, because it'll get a really low rating, and you need to wait for the Pokemon Go boom to be over. He's like, right now, everybody is going through their closets and their little keepsakes and finding all of these holographic Charizards and bringing them out, because it's so super popular right now. He's like, they're worth a lot more when they're scarce, and right now, I'm having 2 of these show up every day. But I said, I don't give a shit. I want the $80. $80 for a piece of paper, I'll take it. You know. So anyways, that's a little bit of my experience. This fucking Subaru, that's not the Subaru, that's a different car. This fucking Subaru is like a half a mile before traffic, and they get over into the fucking fast lane. It's like, why are you in the fast lane? You are not going to pass me. But I don't think this is a Subaru. I think this is a fucking Volkswagen. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to stay in the fast lane because I'm passing this truck. Making our way to Des Moines. I'll be there an hour and a half. I brought my lunch with me. I got everything I could need. I brought ham. Don't really want ham, but I brought it. I didn't eat dinner last night. I got home, and I have another big, delicious steak. I have thawed out ground beef. I have what I need to eat, but I just didn't feel. I was like, yeah, I'm not even hungry. Why would I eat? Doing a Nice little like 18-hour fast or whatever it is. Or no, I guess it'll be a 24-hour fast. Another 24-hour fast because if I'm not going to eat until lunch, and the last thing I ate yesterday was lunch. But yeah, these 24-hour fasts ain't bad. Maybe I don't know. I probably won't. I wish I would have cooked that steak last night and I would have ate it. But it would have been nice if I cooked that steak and then put it away so I could eat it today for lunch. But today I got ham, I got some hard-boiled eggs, I got some sauces. I brought a bag of pork rinds, so I'll be good with that. Got plenty of waters with me today. Feeling good. And this GMC truck up here, they saw me coming up in the fast lane. They sped way up, got way ahead of me, and then they slowed back down, and now I'm about to run into them again. It's like, what? Just, don't you have cruise? Don't you have cruise control? It is nice that the northbound Iowa scale is under construction. I bet you they're still under construction. If they're open, that'd be kind of shocking. But they've been under construction, so they're shut down. So that's nice. The southbound scale is going to be open for sure. Man, I really hope there's a fucking pallet jack in this fucking trailer. If somebody took it out, I'm going to be wondering why the fuck would they do that. 'Cause that's going to be very annoying to whoever has to bring me a fucking pallet jack. What else is going on in the world today? I guess Dolly Parton came into Kansas City and she's doing something out here. Kind of cool. Everybody loves Dolly. I like Dolly. She's cool. Theo Vaughn is coming to Kansas City, and I've thought about going to a show, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to because I think I don't know. He's got a lot of good jokes, but I've watched a couple of his stand-up specials, and I don't know if I want to go through that. I like him a lot on his podcast, so maybe I should just go ahead and listen to or go to the show. He's coming in at the end of September, I think. Be kind of cool to go, but I don't know. My wife asked me the other day. She's like, Theo Vaughn's coming to town. Do you want to go see him? I was like, I watch enough of his podcast. I don't know if I want to see his stand-up. It's almost the same with Joe Rogan. I do like Joe Rogan. I've liked all of his specials, but a lot of, I don't know, maybe other people are getting into my mind, but they're like, his podcasts are the best thing that's ever happened, but his stand-up is actually not very good at all. And I don't know. I like it. I watched his live special stand-up, and I thought it was good. There's a couple of things that I chuckled at, but I wouldn't say he's the funniest guy I've ever met or ever, watched. But I don't know. Look, I like watching those comedy specials. I really do. I like to watch the Shane Gillis specials. Or how many does he have? Does he just have the one? I don't know. I could watch his one special over and over and over again, but I like the compilations people make of him just in like the filmed parts in clubs and stuff, and they just put it all together. So funny. The perfect comedian is Shane. For me, I think he's so So amazing, and everybody else does too. I don't know anybody that doesn't like the Shane Gillis. He's a good one. Anyways, I've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm kind of running out of shit to talk about. So keep all 18 down, and I'm going to talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Bye. Oh, wait. Don't keep all 18 down yet. Please stay on the line. I had a rant that I thought about fucking turning on yesterday. I thought about recording a mini episode yesterday just for the rant I had on the place I went to yesterday. Yesterday went okay. They fixed the AC in the truck. The AC eventually broke again. I don't know what the fuck's going on with it. But the AC only works when you're driving down the road, mainly because whatever air is coming into the cab of the truck from the outside is the only propulsion for the cool air to hit you. So you have to be going over 30 miles an hour to have any air whatsoever hitting you. And that decided, I don't know, the blower motor just got too hot. I don't know what it is. But it decided to fucking quit right as I was getting into Tulsa. Not a big deal, whatever. I'm going to get in and out. Not a bad gig. I get there. I get weighed in. I roll up to the top. I pull. There's a trash truck, or there's two roll-off trucks, and then there's a trash truck. And because there's two lanes. I pull behind the trash truck because the guy told me, he said, the guy that usually ran that route, he said, always pull behind the trash trucks because the trash trucks are going to be the first ones to go. So I said, cool. So I pull behind the trash truck, and I sit there, and like he said, the trash truck was the first one to go in. I pull forward. I'm first in line on the right side. First in line. The left side has two roll-off trucks. The first one goes. Okay, not a big deal. The second one goes. All right, well, I mean, I was ahead of him, but whatever. It'll be okay. A third one pulls up, and he gets immediately greenlit, and he goes in and dumps. And I'm sitting there in the first, I'm like, okay, well, that guy I clearly should have went. If one guy passes me, not a big deal. Another guy pulls up. They wait, we're waiting. I see a green light on his side. He fucking goes. Another truck, I'm sitting there. I've got another truck behind me at this point in time. I don't know what the fuck I am doing wrong at this place. They let 7 more trucks go in there and dump. And I'm sitting there first in line. Some of them, they let 2 go in at a time. They would let one go and another one go, and then they would have 2 or 3 trucks in there at a time, but they take 15 to 20 minutes to dump their fucking load. And me dumping my load, it's going to take about 3 minutes. It's going to take about 3 minutes. 1 minute to pull in there and hop out and undo my tarp. Another minute to get into the truck and back up and start tilting. And then another minute to fucking close the door. Like, what the fuck is going on? They deliberately made me sit there for an hour with no AC because it doesn't work unless you're moving. I was so fucking pissed. Right before I got greenlit, another truck pulled up, and I was like, if he fucking goes in there, I'm getting out of this truck, and I'm going to go talk to the person in the office and be like, what's up, motherfucker? Like, why are you letting everybody go ahead of me? What did I do? What is the difference? Because we're sitting there, and they'll let that entire line go empty. And then it'll sit empty, and they still leave me red lit. They won't let me go in there. Finally, after waiting for another, 10 minutes of nobody else showing up, they finally give me the green light. And I pull in there, and I start to back up, and the guy honks at me in the loader that's in there that pushes all the trash out of the way. He honks at me, opens his door, and I'm like, what? And so I roll my window. I'm like, huh? And he's like, pull like this. I'm like, pull like that? What are you talking about? It's like, pull like this, so then when you can just shoot straight out. I just parked the fucking truck, got hopped out. I'm like, okay. I gave him like a very sarcastic thumbs up. Okay. And I went over there and I pulled my tarp off and I opened up the back door and then I backed up and I was like, I don't even know what the fuck you're telling me to do. Like, what? This is not my first time here. He tells me to pull like this. Shut the fuck up. This is a room full of fucking trash. And I seriously was so close to just tipping the bed right in the middle of the fucking floor. Because he likes to have all the trash, in the trash pile, so he just has to kind of compact it a little bit. I thought about dumping that shit right in the middle of the fucking lot. Be like, that's what you get. But I know they look at the name on the door, and if somebody, they'll remember us. And they're going to really piss off the next guy that has to do it, which isn't me because it's a different guy. So I back up into the pit of trash. I don't know how he's telling me to pull into it or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. I'm just backing up to a pile of trash and dumping my trash. And I dump my trash and I'm in and out of there in 3 fucking minutes. And I pull down, I get on the scale, and I thought about bitching to the girl in there because that girl that's in there, I bitched to her before. She seems to be understanding, but she has no power to do anything about anything. So I just smiled and said, been here for over an hour. I didn't say anything, but I wanted to be like, been here for over an hour, sitting first in line to dump. What the fuck is that about? Like, every other truck that pulled in here went ahead of me. Only reason I got to go is because there's no other fucking trucks to dump. Don't know what the fuck I did. So then I leave. I get out, get on the fucking highway, driving, everything's going fine. And then I get a call from another guy that I work with that is, I don't know, he's an okay guy. He's kind of annoying to me. He thinks he's really smart. So it's like, I've done that Tulsa job a lot, but he thinks it's his job, even though it's not. I've done it way more than he has, but he acts like he knows everything in and out about it, and I'm like, yeah, well, be careful, because next time you go down there, they're going to make you fucking sit and wait for a long fucking time first in line. He's like, oh yeah, they do that all the time. I'm like, actually, I've had to wait there, but that's because there's a big line. I've never waited first in line for over an hour, like when there's clearly room for me to go in there and dump. Like, I don't know, man. They really pissed me off today. He's like, yeah, they do that. Hey, so I'm running that truck tomorrow. Will you go, will you grab a dumpster for me? I'm like, you motherfucker, like, how about this? And I tried to tell him, I was like, all right, well, hey, how about this? If I just bring the truck straight back to the shop with the empty dumpster, then you can go get your dumpster, drop my dumpster, grab your dumpster, and then head down there. He's like, no, can you grab my dumpster for me? I'm like, I guess. Why? He's like, well, what time are you going to be here? I was like, I'm going to be there at like 6:30. He's like, oh, that's way too late. I'm like, okay, late for what do you mean? There's no time limit on this fucking job. What are you talking about? He's like, well, usually I wanted to have you go get me at my dumpster and then bring the truck to me so then I could just drive the truck straight to my house. So I'm like, hey, you fucking cunt bag. No. You want me to do a bunch of extra work to make your life easier? No, this is your fucking job. But I did. I took the dumpster back and I dumped it, and then I looked around. There wasn't any other dumpsters. So I checked every single, there's like 8 dumpsters there. I checked them all. None of them had shit in them that we would take. So I said, nope, there ain't no dumpster. He's like, all right, well, I guess I'll drive all the way into work tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna drive all the way into work tomorrow. Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, well, I like to drive the truck home. Blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, you pussy. This guy pissed me off. He's the reason my finger got fucked up. Not my thumb from the other day, but my other finger, which is still, I mean, it's back to normal. It's back to normal now, but it was another roll-off dumpster, and we needed to clean it. And so I brought a power washer to him, and I told him where to meet. I was like, hey, every time I go there, it's easier to meet up there on the pad where it's concrete, and it's not as messy, and there's no trucks running around. So just go up to the pad, drop the dumpster, and then I'll get in there and clean it. He's like, no, dropping the dumpster is going to take way too long. I'm like, what are you talking about? Take way too long? You're going to be sitting there waiting for me. How about you just drop the dumpster while I'm on my way? It's like, no, I don't want to drop the dumpster. I'm like, drop the fucking dumpster, and then we can clean it. We can get all the way around it. We can walk inside of it. It'll be fine. You can you leave the winch cable hooked up. You leave it on the truck a little bit. You just have it lifted up like a foot, so all the water will rush out, but everything's on the floor, so it's easy to get to. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, dude, do it. He's like, no. I'm like, fuck. So I get there, and because it's got chains on it, that you gotta whack these chains up on top of the dumpster, or else they'll hang there, and you can't close the door because the chains are hanging in the way. So you have to wing these chains up in the air. I mean, it's my fault, but my finger, when I grabbed one of those chains, and it's way up on the truck, and I swing it backwards, my fucking ring finger, or not my ring finger, but my other finger on my other hand, it's the ring finger, it got inside of one of the links of the chain, and whenever I whipped it up, because I was angry, it fucking twisted my finger 180 degrees at a high rate of speed, and it really fucking hurt. It really fucking hurt. And I was like, you know what? If you would have just set this motherfucking dumpster on the ground, everything would have been fine. But no! And then he wants me to climb up there. I'm not climbing up in there. Fuck, set it on the ground and we can walk in there. He's like, no, I'll just do it. I'm like, yeah, get your fucking ass in there. Fuck. Fucking fuckhead. He's a cool guy. I like him, but, from afar. I like him from afar. I don't know. And him and his brother both bought Altimas at the same time. And both of those Altimas, I don't know if those Altimas just damaged themselves, but both of their cars just slowly got more and more damaged over not even a year. Well, no, it was over a year. Because one guy had a temp tag from 2021. It's all falling the fuck apart in a sandwich bag. Screwed to his fucking... I'm like, dude, you're better off running no tag than this fucking shitty fucking temp tag in a sandwich bag. I'm like, what the fuck? He ended up selling, or I don't know what happened with the car, but he doesn't have the car anymore. I don't know if it got repossessed or if he traded it in. I don't know. He didn't want to pay the taxes on it, and he was 3 years behind on taxes. And the taxes lined up to be worth more than the fucking car. So, I don't know. He was just a real dumb fuck and didn't get his shit taken care of, and he's driving around on a temp tag. It just really annoys me when I see people run around with expired temp tags. Doesn't really affect me much, but it's just really fucking annoying. And the people running around with temp tags are more than likely the people that are going to piss you off on the fucking road. I don't know why, but you get a temp tag on your car and you think you just own the road, and you just drive really fucking dumb, and it pisses you off. Next time, I mean, if you're in America and you're driving around and somebody pisses you off, check to see if they have a temp tag. I bet you they do. I bet you it's flying in the fucking wind. You can't even fucking read it. So even if you did want to call and report somebody, you can't, because it's fucking flying in the wind, and they're just cutting people off. Fucking fuckheads ain't paying their. I mean, I pay my shit. You pay your shit. Fucking 2021 temp tag. You fucking. And that's the other brother. This other brother, he actually got his tag, but he keeps putting taillights in it, but he keeps getting rear-ended. I don't know. It's a black fucking Altima. Fucking Altimas are the fucking. I fucking hate Altimas. I do. Nissan's got some nice cars, but their fucking Altima is just like, you're not even allowed to have a straight bumper on an Altima. Just pieces of fucking shit. I drive a Chevy Cruze, but I don't understand how people damage their car so much. They're just such a careless fucking driver. And this is a CDL driver. I don't know how they drive their normal car or drive a fucking semi, because I don't know. I have a Cruze, and I run into my trash cans in the driveway on purpose to knock them out of the way, because the fucking trash man leaves right in the fucking way. I bump into them, and they fly into the yard, and then I can park my car. Doesn't hurt the car at all. But these Altimas, they're fucking dented all the fucking time. I've never seen a clean Altima. They're all fucking wrecked. They got fucking clear tape over the windows, or fucking donut, riding on a fucking donut. You know, you're not even supposed to go over 50 miles an hour with a donut, and they're doing 90 miles an hour fucking swerving through traffic. Like, fucking Altima drivers. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're worse than Jeep guys. There's some Jeep guys out there that think they're fucking hot shit. Little do they know, they look like a fucking gay guy driving down the road. Tops off. All that wander aren't lost. It's a Jeep thing, you wouldn't understand. Problem? No problem. Fucking ducks on the window. Shut the fuck up, you Jeep fucking XJ, YJ fucking cunt sucking motherfuckers. Fuck off, Jeep fuckers. I got big wheels and tires, and I got rock lights. I put these little fenders on. It's like a mini skirt for your fucking pussy to hang out. Shut the fuck up, you Jeep fucking fuckheads. You got the circle lights, the fucking dumb fucking, you got the America flag grill on there. You got all these fucking bumpers, and you got the fucking little tread things hanging off the side of your fucking Jeep as you're driving into fucking the grocery store. Fuck off! You got the spare tire cover. Fuck off! You got the little light in the middle of it. Hey, bitch ass motherfucking Jeep driver. I don't know. They seem a little too queer. You seem a little bit too fucking queer. I'm so sorry. There's nothing wrong with being queer, but you act like you ain't queer when you're looking queer. Fucking Jeep guys. Oh my god. Alright, so I don't know who pisses me off more. Pretty sure the Jeep guys piss me off more, and most of them drive okay. They give the little fucking wave. They give the Jeep wave. They got their fucking doors off and their little fucking flip-flop hanging out the side. You're fucking gay, dude. You're so gay. You got your doors off your Jeep? Fucking dumb fuck. I had my 78 Chevy. I took the doors off of that motherfucker. You had to want to take those motherfuckers off. And then I ripped the rear view mirror off the fucking windshield and I shove it in the fender. And that's my rear view mirror. I think I look kind of cool, like redneck. You got a Salt Life sticker on your Jeep? What the fuck is that about? Salt Life. Salt Life. Fucking Jeep. Fucking guys. Oh my gosh. I wish I could think of something else to complain about Jeep guys with. JK. Just kidding. Fuck off, you fucking fuckheads! Jeep guys! What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, you got the Gladiator Jeep truck. You're a fucking bitch, is what you are. Look at the fucking approach angle of a Jeep Gladiator. What the fuck is that? Why is the bed so long in the back? Why? What the fuck? In the doors? Yeah, you're gonna save money and put the same doors from the regular Jeeps on the fucking Gladiator, and there's a big open fucking spot right there. Like, fuck that Gladiator, you pussies. Fuck! You got me all riled up. I'm out of coffee. Fucking Jeep guys. Anyways, I hope that was a good little rant for you at the end of it. I'm gonna go ahead and fucking relax to the soothing sounds of fucking Alabama or George Strait. I'm not sure. Adios.